Hey family, so I thought I'd talk to you today about something that happened at work, and it was really interesting because one of my coworkers, he had kind of an explosive moment where he quit, and he kind of dug into the managers and let them know how he couldn't really endure the abuse at work and the toxic environment. And it got me to thinking about how miserable certain people are in their jobs and how that takes a toll on people's consciousness. And he was a good worker, and to lose him, it's gonna really hurt us for a while, right? Because he was so good that you didn't even have to train him. When he started, he knew already what's going on. And what's interesting about him is he had worked for an employer that I had worked for in the past, and that employer was really strict, and it was kind of fine dining, and we had to really do a lot of work to keep that boss happy. And what was good about this guy is that you just got to show him where everything is and he knows what to do. And when you have an employee like that, a company should really value them. And he wasn't valued. And it's sad because I don't know, I just don't know how to help people like that, to make them feel better. And I noticed this pattern is that a lot of people, when they quit, they kind of come to me like they want to have some comfort, and they vent their feelings to me, and then I brainstorm with them, and I try to help them find another job, or they tell me where they're going, and they always want to keep in touch. And I feel really honored that people feel that way about me, that they feel like they can open up to me and voice their opinions and share it with me. And I just feel honored, really, but it really has me feeling a little bit sad, because I know I won't go to work and I won't see him on the weekend. He does work at an establishment. He has a second job at a place that's close to mine, so I will technically get to still kind of see him around, but replacing that employee will be super difficult. And I think that's what's going to be the headache, is the people who will probably hire to replace him most likely won't be that great. Number one, because the wages that are paid are very low, and he was overqualified for the position anyways, and we're lucky that he accepted such a low wage. So the people who will most likely replace him will be very unskilled. They won't know the aspects of the dining experience. They'll have to be babysat a lot, because we've already had 2 new hirees, and I was really surprised that the company kind of hired them, because they were very unexperienced, to the point where I was like, okay, this is not very good, because it's holding the whole team back, because we have to kind of overly watch this employee, and that employee plus the other one are not showing initiative. They stand there and they wait for you to tell them what to do. Whereas with people like the guy who quit, you don't have to tell him what to do. He just does it. And that is a relief. And that's an asset. And I remember when he quit, he exploded, and he talked truth to power, as they say, right? He just kind of dug into him loudly, and he exploded, and he was feeling some kind of way for a while. So I understood how he was feeling for quite some time. And it's really troubling to me. It has me wondering a lot about life and how the labor market is and stuff like that. Have any of you ever experienced that in your own work life? Because a lot of us, I know we all struggle in that way with abuse at work. And how do we do it in a job economy that's sort of flooded with workers? I'd love to know your thoughts about that. But it's really got me thinking today. Especially because I was texting him and telling him about, how he should email the higher ups in the company and let them know how he feels. But some people are really shy and they don't want to do that. But I think that more people should, because I think that way we could create real change. Because so many people take their whips and they don't say anything. They say it to the people who are doing it, but they don't go above their heads. So I was thinking, if more of us started to stand up for ourselves in a way where we wouldn't get overly punished, right? Because he had a second job, so he wasn't going to exactly be homeless, right? Because you got to be careful, because you don't want to be homeless, because so many people, they're suffering, right? But I do wonder, if we started to just let people know it's not okay for you to treat us this way just because you're a manager. It's not okay for you to treat people like they're trash because you get paid X amount of money every month, right? No matter what, we're all human. And I really find it psychologically interesting how people get a little bit of power and they completely try to abuse it. And it's not even real power. It's just that they have a title and a couple of duties of inventory or something small like that. And then that little bit of power goes to their head and they think that they can treat people inhumanely. And I find it very troubling. And at least at the establishment I'm at now, there's been a current pattern. Is employees come, they're miserable, they're treated bad, and then they leave, and then it creates a very chaotic environment, and we are not able to service the customers as well because we're training constantly people, and the people who we're hiring don't have the finesse, and they won't work for that low of wages. And there is an unlimited amount of workers, this is true, right? Because California is a sanctuary state, there is a lot of cheap influxes of labor, and they just get hired right away. You walk in, sometimes you just get the job, they don't even ask for your resume. And this kind of creates a problem for those who do have experience, and when experience used to kind of matter. But now it's not really about experience in some fields, it's more about how many hours can you work and how cheap can we pay you. And this is creating a lot of psychological abuse because people will work and work and work thinking that just working hard is going to get you ahead, when in actuality sometimes it can be not that. It can be if you flirt, it can be if you're a brown noser, it can be if you're a snitch or something negative, right? Or giving false flattery. So I don't know, family, I just feel really bad for my coworker. And I know my job is going to be harder now because he's gone. And it really hurts my heart to see that the people who have caused this abuse are not really going to be held accountable. They're not going to feel anything. They're not going to change. The next person they hire is going to feel the same way, because I've seen at least 8 people now that I can remember off the top of my head who had a very similar experience. I wonder if this is the same for other fields, and if it's not just for the culinary world. I would like to know what you guys think, because I wonder if this is the same in, like, I don't know what industry, hotel industry, I don't know, you name it, but I would like to know what you think. Okay, fam.